Good morning, my English-speaking friends. Good morning, my Canadian and American friends. My name is Alla, and you are on a YouTube channel, Spirit of Jatayu, on which I normally share my spiritual experiences and practices. But since the war in Ukraine started a little bit more than a month ago, on the 24th of February, my posts are changed a bit, and the last of 5 or 6 posts that I had were in Russian. So my Russian speaking subscribers or spiritual practitioners would understand what I'm saying, and I completely neglected my English speaking friends. So today I'm gonna just do this for you guys, so you are aware of what I was sharing. And when the war started, and because my background is Ukrainian, I was born in Ukraine. I spent all my youth years in Ukraine, and my family is still there. All this deeply affected me in a way that I was shocked first, was scared for the well-being of my loved ones, and about the future of my country, future of my family, and the future of the whole entire family, planet. Because as you all know by now, Putin was threatening to use the nuclear weapon as well, and I had to switch my practice to a different mode, and I will tell you what I mean. So technically, when you're practicing something like yoga, spirituality, religion, or something similar to that, you will have a harder time to go on a battlefield and kill people, even if they're enemies. But there are ways of helping and fighting evil without killing other people. And on my channel, I was focusing on just that. So I can share with you a little bit, because what I was doing and what my friends who practice as well were doing, we were helping in a unique ways, and I can show you what effect it took in a war progression. So let's start with when the war began. The chances and predictions were quite slim that Ukraine will win, because Russia is bigger. Russia is way more equipped in a military sense. They have more weapons. Ukraine is a tiny little country compared to Russia, and was demilitarizing herself for years and didn't have much to fight with. So, and it's either the government knew or not. I think they knew, in a sense, that Russia is planning to attack, but the resources were still minimal. So everyone became a soldier. Everyone in Ukraine, and actually everyone in the world, became a soldier, because this Ukrainian war, it was not just a war for their freedom or their territory. It was war of light against darkness. It was war of spirituality against evil. It was war against devil himself, because enough is enough, and planet was suffering, people were suffering from the darkness that became like a cancer that metastasized everywhere and making most of people on the planet miserable. So here's the start of the war. When at the beginning they were bombing, and it's hard for me to say that because I'm still emotional about this, so bear with me. When they're bombing, as they would say, military bases, that was a lie, because my family is in there, and I would get reports from my mom, from my brothers and other relatives that no, it's not just military bases, it's not just the airports, it's a civilians as well. And that was really scary, because you never know where the missile will land, and a lot of people got killed immediately without any warning. It was shocking to receive that from the neighbor that was calling himself our brothers. And the reason they entered it was, as they said, it's demilitarizing country and doing denazification. And at the end, what we see that what they assumed that Ukrainians somehow were harassing Russian people who lives in Ukraine. And at the end, what Russia's army did is completely destroyed number of cities that were mostly Russian-speaking cities, like Kharkov, Mariupol, and Kherson, Nikolaev. This is the area where a lot of Russian-speaking people lived, and I have a lot of family there as well. I am a mixed family because I have both Russian and Ukrainian in my family, but that conflict was kind of blown out of proportion, and never ever that I've seen Russian people in Ukraine being discriminated against their language, because we all speak both languages, Russian and Ukrainian. And if someone will approach me speaking Russian, I will speak Russian to them, and if it's Ukrainian, then I will switch to Ukrainian, because we speak both. And it wasn't a big deal ever. My husband is Russian, I'm Ukrainian. It was not a big deal. It was not the reason to start the war, but I think the reason to start the war was the madness of one person, sick ego of one person who decided that no one can say no to him, no one can fight back, and he can do whatever. And suddenly he was facing such a strong resistance in people, army and civilians, that it's turned into national war against evil, and it was fight for our freedom. So as a spiritual practitioner, let's put this way, who practice yoga and meditation and other things, for me it was at first it was like, okay, what do I do? How do I help? But then I realized there is so much I can do, actually, because there are some mantras that I can meditate with, that focus on protection, that focus on making your enemy weaker and making your enemy unable to do the job, whatever they have in mind. So that's what I started to. I ask my guru, and I ask what kind of mantras I can use, and I ask what the visualization meditation I can do to help in that sense, because if something's happening on a physical realm, and what you see around you, that's your physical realm, that's your material world, right? You have body, you have needs for that physical body, so for that reason you are living in a physical realm. Like you have your house, you have your land, you have your food, you have your clothing that you need to cover your body. So that's your physical aspect, right? You have to have some money to buy food. So when someone comes and destroys your land and destroys your house, that's the damage for the physical aspect of your life. But when someone comes and enslaves you, that can affect your spirituality, that can affect you, how your soul feel, how your emotions suddenly turn into the huge sadness because you lost your physical freedom to move, and you are feeling very sad just by watching what they're doing with your people, how they destroy your morale, and how they destroy your spirituality. So people who came to fight with Ukraine were corrupt with very low morale, and for that reason their own spirit was very low. And what that means to Ukraine, we had our spirit suddenly rised up to the sky because we had a chance to fight for our freedom. We had a chance to fight for our spiritual freedom and soul freedom, and that was something that we technically did fight, because for our nationality, for Ukrainians, freedom is way more important than other aspects. We will not tolerate corrupt president or corrupt government. We would always go and protest, and you've seen that happening in our history. You see how people were reacting if someone who is not of high moral or good intention will come to rule the country. They will be asked to leave. So on the other hand, in Russia, in Moscow, Putin and his little minions were quite corrupt and with no moral whatsoever. So what they did, they pretty much made the whole entire country accept that, and the whole entire country was focusing on their physical well-being, on their wealth, and other things that are not as important as the righteousness or goodness. And the hate for Ukrainian people started to grow. They had no idea why they hate us, but they just did. And by doing that, their souls started to suffer. And because when you hate someone and when you do terrible things, what you do, your soul suffers, your morale goes down, and you create a space inside you for the darkness to come in. And that's exactly what happened. What I was saying in my previous video, that Putin is not even human anymore, because the human being cannot do such terrible things and still be okay. I think that he turned into the pure evil, and his soul is no longer able to even say something. His soul is trapped and evil taken over. Same with his cabinet there, with his ministers and with other people who are in charge of the country, because what they're doing is unspeakable, and it's hard to even describe what they're doing. But you all seen on the news what they're doing. And when I started to investigate, apparently, and it was on the news many times, it's not that I'm imagining, it was actually captured, and there was a lot of saying that Putin was into spiritualism in a sense that he needed the power, and he would go into local shamans and use their practices, and will order them to do rituals to enhance his power so he can grow stronger as a ruler. However, when you do something like that and you have no idea what your weakness is, then the power you receive will develop into that weakness that you still haven't addressed it yet. So for example, if you are a thief and you get that power, then you will not be able to stop yourself. And if you are a ruler, then you will do terrible things. Instead of doing a good things for people, you will be doing terrible things. You will not have their well-being in mind. You will have only your ego unleashed, and that's what you will be focusing on. So I think that's what happened when he was sacrificing animals and he was doing terrible rituals in order to have answers and have power. Because of his own low vibration, no good vibration, no good spirits were able to come and help him, because that's not the vibration that was inviting them in. What he did invite with his low morale and corruption, he invited pure evil into his system, into his body, and he is no longer in charge of his body or his mind. As a matter of fact, because his mind producing more and more terrible things, he became a new Hitler of our days, and he is unable to pull back and unable to realize, oh my God, I actually lost the war and I lost ammunition and I lost my respect. I better go back. He will be fighting till the end of his days, because that's what ego does. Ego does not helps you to analyze clearly what you're doing. On the other hand, we have Ukrainian, who has nothing to lose but their land and their freedom, and they united to the point that they became one. Their spirit, the power of their spirit grew almost overnight, immediately, because they united with the same idea to fight for their freedom. And not only they did it for their own country, but they did it for the whole entire planet as well, because what you see on your TVs is people are uniting around the globe. Every country has supporters who come out of their houses with the blue and yellow flags and demanding Putin to go away. And what that means, that spirit, Ukrainian spirit, grew and infected, if you wish, other cultures and other nationalities, and that's given strength to all of us to fight against darkness, against evil. And that is almost like we are feeding off each other right now, and we are getting stronger and stronger. And I was talking to my friends who practice, and I was asking them, what do you do in order to help? And people were telling me what they're doing, what kind of meditation they're using, what kind of rituals or mantras they're performing. And I decided that I picked a few and I shared with my followers on YouTube, and you can do it as well. So one of them is visualization. So when you sit down in meditation, turn on the mantra, and I can leave the link under this video with the mantras that I use, and you can use that mantra or your favorite mantra and visualize how you get the heavy blanket soaked in a cold water and put over Putin, or put over the Kremlin in Moscow. So that would reduce the energy that they can use in order to make evil plans, because it will be harder for them to focus. It will be harder for them to analyze what's going on, and they will act bizarre and strange in a way, but that's what we need. So if you analyze what was going on in Ukraine, it's almost like the army walks in and suddenly they don't know what to do. Suddenly they make stupid decisions. They make themselves exposed to Ukrainian fighters, and they lose their life, and sometimes they get captured, and they are not good fighters. And for that reason, I think that worked. And I also I used the beautiful blue and yellow color sparkly blanket to cover the whole entire Ukraine in my visualization. So every morning and every night I would cover it, and it would be the protection that nothing bad can happen with my land, and they will not lose against evil. So that's what I was doing, and I'm still doing it every day, and I will be doing it until this war stops. So that's something that you can do as well. Here on a physical level, what did I do on a physical level? Didn't know what to do, and one day I was just feeling so badly for people who die in Ukraine. I was crying. I went into a shower, and suddenly it struck me that I actually can do a lot of things, because it's not just fighting physically. There are fighting in a different ways. So besides the meditations and practicing ritualism, where I use the visual icons of the high spirits like Shiva, Ganesha, Saint Mary, and other Jesus, other icons that I actually ask for help, ask for protection. I thought on a physical level I can do something as well. So because I'm an artist as well, I was selling my art, and money that I will get for my paintings I would send to Ukraine, to Ukrainian organization Come Back Alive, and you can actually Google it, and you can do your own donation if you wish. It's the original government site that will collect money, and the money will go into the helmets, vests, night visions. It would go into food and water. It would go into humanitarian help as well for the casualties. It will go into to buy more medications and medical supplies. So it's a huge site, and they have it's not that they're covering only one thing. It's a government site. They cover in many aspects, like for casualties and for medication, food, other supplies, and as well as for army needs, like protection for the soldiers. And I think it's great because this is the time that we need to do that, and we need to learn from it. My daughter also, she had an idea to sell pierogies, and we end up having an article about us in the newspaper and in the news on TV. Somehow, I don't even know how we got into that, but it grew big, and so now we are making pierogies every day. We are selling them and sending money to Ukraine. We raised more than $10,000, and we are keep doing that, and we will be doing that until the end of the war. You can help us with that. I will leave the information under this video, and you can contact us and you can help as well. I think it's your chance to do something good. It's your chance to be a hero, and that's what's important, because in such a difficult time, Ukraine is fighting that darkness, that evilness, and Ukraine is fighting for the whole entire world, because we need to get rid of those sick politicians, and not just in Ukraine or in Russia. We need to kick them out of our government everywhere in each country that suffers from it. Because if government doesn't have a wellness of their people in mind, they should not be governing anything. They need to go home. And I think we can be as example that no, we had enough of politicians that will not make any difference. They only have their own strange games in mind, and they only focus on their well-being, and they don't really have our well-being in mind, and that what is needs to change. Because if you given a chance to lead your country, then you need to fully focus on someone's just cutting the grass here, so I'm gonna take a walk. So if you are governing the country, your focus needs to be on well-being of your people and nothing else, because this position is high, and this position is so important that you need to prove your people that you actually focusing on what they need. And that is something that if we all do this, I think every government should be focusing on how we can get rid of the nuclear weapon in every country, because it's not the way to threaten each other with that, because you're not threatening your neighbor with a nuclear weapon. You're threatening the whole entire planet, because that weapon will destroy huge chunks of land that will be not usable for many generations, and that is something that should not be even happening, period. We need to get rid of nuclear weapon for a planet's sake. If you want to kill each other, that's one story, but if you want to kill the planet with the animals and with trees and other living things for hundreds of years, that is not okay, because that planet, it was given to you for a little while so you can come here and learn and enjoy the beauty of it. That planet was not given to you to destroy it and show your power, because it's not okay. It's not okay, and that's what actually made me sick, that one man could threaten all of people of the world that if you don't do what I say, might as well kill us all. That is not okay. So that's why war in Ukraine between Russia and Ukrainian people who fight for their freedom, I think that's why it's important that we understand the difference, because it's not between two countries, it's between darkness and goodness, it's between evil and between Holy Spirit. We are fighting for the whole entire planet. And it was interesting to watch the news. I normally don't watch the news because I was sick and tired of the game and lies that is not part of my way of living here on the planet. But I had to watch the news because it was quite concerning for me. And I noticed that this war was covered with such a details, because they would use what people record on their cell phone, and they would use the footage from different parts of Ukraine, and they will show what's going on right now in this part or that part. And also what struck me is the spirit, and all those guests that would come to the TV stations, they were showing the weaknesses and showing the heroism, and they were showing that they're people, and they're showing that, yeah, no, I just want to have normal life. I want to go back to normal. I want to go to work. I want to have kids. I want to get married. That's what we are fighting for. And we will do anything to win, because we want our land, and that's everyone's wish, not just Ukrainian wish. So also what strikes me is that we used the spiritual healers, and we invited them on Ukrainian TV. There were numerologists, they were spiritual healers, they were those who practice different ceremonies, those who witches as well, actually, believe it or not. So they would invite them on TV and ask, okay, what can we do? Show us how to pray, show us how to do the rituals, what we can do to help. And it was quite amazing, because, for example, numerologists would explain how they would count the way when Putin potentially can win or potentially can lose, and how based on his birthday when he gonna die even. And it was calculated by one numerologist. I'll leave everything down there under the video, but it was counted for how long Putin possibly can still be present in his physical aspect and his body, and when he can leave his body and die and go into different realm. So that was stunning, because as a spiritual practitioner myself, I was so pleased to be recognized, in a sense that yes, we help as well, but no one ever either believe or share our stories on TV. And this war was actually able to invite many people who practice spirituality, who practice traditional way of healing and affecting life, to the national TV. And we're asking them a good question. We're asking them, okay, what are you doing and how we can do the same. That was amazing. And yeah, that is something that I was quite pleased to see on TV. And finally we get recognized, and also because people are awakening more. People are started to show interest to their spiritual aspects because they suddenly understand that it's not just your mind and your body. I do have a soul and I do have a spirit, and I do want to know more about that and why I have those and what they can do for me. So that is the time when a lot of people actually seeking for that knowledge, and that was really timely. And because we can share our knowledge for those who wants to know. We can teach you how to meditate, we can teach you how to do yoga, we can teach you alternative way of living, and we can teach you a lot of physically how to combine your physical aspect with your spiritual aspect and have greater benefits of balancing that out. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And in such a terrible time as a war, we are still able to learn a lot about ourselves, to learn about our abilities, and what different kind of power we have in us, and we can use it. So thank you for watching. And yes, I will try to do English versions of my videos as well. Please sign up for my channel Spirit of Jatayu if you haven't done so yet, and share it with your friends if you find that helpful and interesting, and I will do my best in sharing more knowledge with you. At the end of this video I will show you the pictures of paintings that I sold and supported my country, Ukraine, in this war. And I also will list all the people who donated, not only with buying pirogues, but just donated because they're wonderful people and they know that winning evil is very important. And thank you so much for everyone who did participate, and for those who are still thinking and haven't had a chance, I will place some information in how to donate. If you don't want to donate through us, that's totally fine, because I can give you a few links that you can do your own thing, but please participate and please help with what you can. Everything is matter, even tiny little thing. A blanket sometimes for a refugee is making a difference. So be kind to each other and bring the light to this world. I love you all. Thank you so much.